Roman Reigns loses against Solo Sikoa. WWE Smackdown Plans. CM Punk feels bad for the kids on NXT. Bobby Lashley defends Vince McMahon amidst serious backlash. Logan Paul faces controversial accusation. Dominic Mysterio's sudden declaration. Rikishi's message to his sons Jimmy and Jey Uso. Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman's next appearance. Let's dive right in. WWE Smackdown Plans. WWE has announced 2 title matches for SmackDown tonight, one of which will see Jacob Fatu in action after he returned last week to take out Roman Reigns. Few would have done better with the Blue Brand's electric roster. Still, General Manager Nick Aldis is seemingly comfortable holding the reins as he navigates amidst clashing egos and ever-changing dynamics. Thus, he may have a few surprise announcements planned for tonight's show. Here, we look at 4 things Nick Aldis can make official on WWE SmackDown this week. So without further ado, let's begin. Number 1. Tongala is banned from the tag title match. The Street Profits defeated DIY on SmackDown last week to become the number 1 contenders for the WWE Tag Team Championship. Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins are now scheduled to challenge the Bloodline for the titles on the Blue Brand tonight. The Solo Sikoa Run faction has a history of using the numbers to their advantage and would likely plan the same for tonight's title bout. However, Nick Aldis could make a huge change by banning Tongala from ringside and preventing him from potentially interfering in the match to help Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu. Number 2, Cody Rhodes versus Grayson Waller on next week's SmackDown. Last week on SmackDown, Cody Rhodes saved Kevin Owens from an A-Town Down Under beatdown. Grayson Waller has since taken shots at the American Nightmare, calling him a villain in his story, which set up a segment between them on SmackDown. Their promo war on the upcoming episode could set up a massive single match for Cody Rhodes on the Blue Brand's final edition before Bash in Berlin. This would see him lock horns with Waller one day before he defends his undisputed WWE Championship against Kevin Owens in Germany. Number 3, Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes becomes a best-of-7 series. Andrade and Carmelo Hayes have been involved in an intriguing rivalry on SmackDown that has grown more and more intense with each passing week. Last week, additional WWE security personnel were required to separate the 2 men following their match, which ended with Hayes picking up a win. Fans are heavily invested in their feud, and Nick Aldis could turn things up a notch by announcing a 7-match series between the 2 superstars. This would inevitably help build Andrade and Hayes, pushing him into the United States Championship picture. At the same time, the raging champion LA Knight remains occupied in a title feud with Santos Escobar. Number 4, Nia Jax's first title defense as WWE Women's Champion. Nia Jax defeated Bayley to win the WWE Women's Championships, with slight help from her friend and Ms. Money in the Bank Tiffany Stratton. The latter also threw a massive celebration for Jax's title win on last week's show, but it ended with Mia Michin Yim destroying the setup. We may soon see Jax put her title on the line against Yim, and Nick Aldis could announce this match tonight. It will be interesting to see if this title bout is booked for Bash in Berlin or next week's SmackDown. CM Punk feels bad for the kids on NXT. CM Punk is scheduled to appear in WWE NXT soon. The Best in the World recently opened up about why he feels bad for the young talent on the developmental brand. WWE worked with a few developmental brands over a decade ago to produce future megastars. Florida Championship Wrestling, FCW, was seen as one of the biggest platforms where the best in the business trained. In a recent appearance at Fanatics Fest NYC, CM Punk spoke about the young talent in WWE. The Second City Saint noted that he enjoys passing his knowledge on to the rising stars in the company. He went on to note that the industry has done itself a disservice by shutting off its talent pipeline. He gave the example of the National Basketball Association, NBA, where future stars are hired after they perform at the college level. Eventually, you're just going to be hiring people playing street ball because there's no programs in place to, teach fundamentals. Or there's no program for young college athletes to go through, CM Punk said. Instead, NXT has been used as the developmental circuit that is broadcast around the world. While the exposure is great for the upcoming stars, the fact that every little mistake they make gets noticed is very irksome. I feel bad for the kids on NXT because they're on national television, so everybody sees from the ground floor, CM Punk said. CM Punk noted that his generation had the comfort of learning without being in the spotlight. The new generation of WWE superstars is always under pressure as it has to perform in front of live cameras. During his appearance at the Fanatics Fest NYC, CM Punk spoke about NXT a few times. He is set to appear on the first episode of the White and Gold brand on the CW network later this year. The Best in the World stated that he would love to work with Shawn Michaels to learn how things work on the developmental brand. He stated that NXT gets left alone, and he would like to see how he can make a difference in the brand. Baby steps. I would love to work underneath Shawn at some point. It's not like I want Shawn to go away, here, take over. I would want to learn from him and see how he operates and how he does things. NXT is sort of left alone. Triple H lets Shawn, he trusts Shawn. From NXT to the main roster are wildly different. I think it's good to know both systems. And I can learn from everybody, CM Punk said. CM Punk has already helped many NXT stars, including Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. An extended stay on the white and gold brand will do him a world of good. Bobby Lashley defends Vince McMahon amidst serious backlash. Bobby Lashley has been part of the WWE family for several years now, and he has found great success during both of his stints in the company. He recently stated that he has a connection with Vince McMahon and not Triple H, leading to a lot of backlash, and Lashley has now defended his comments. Bobby Lashley recently talked about his experiences working with Vince McMahon and Triple H in WWE. Lashley, who did well as WWE champion and leader of the Hurt Business when McMahon was in charge, said he had good connection with Vince. He appreciated how Vince saw his potential and gave him helpful advice throughout his career. On the other hand, Lashley admitted that he doesn't have the same kind of relationship with Triple H. He mentioned that Triple H has his own group of wrestlers, and they haven't worked together closely enough. If I say the wrong thing right now, laughter. I had a connection with Vince. Vince understood me. Vince was big on the show. He looked at people that were stars. He saw that in me. There were a lot of little nuggets that Vince would give me throughout my career and tell me different things. Vince looked at me like, I can tell Bobby works his ass off. I can send him anywhere around the country to represent the brand. He looked at me like a star. I like Vince. I haven't really had too much of a connection with Hunter. Hunter has his guys. I've tried to, but we haven't really worked enough together to get to know each other. While speaking with the Bo and Them show, Bobby Lashley addressed the backlash he got for his comments and explained that he simply spent more time talking with Vince McMahon, so they had a closer working relationship. He didn't mean to compare them negatively. When Vince McMahon was in charge, he pushed Lashley to show different sides of his character and step out of his comfort zone on TV. Vince felt that Lashley had more to offer and wanted to bring that out. Since Triple H took over, Bobby Lashley said they haven't had as much time to connect personally, which is why his relationship with Triple H isn't as strong as it was with Vince McMahon. I said something where I had more of a relationship with Vince than Triple H, and everybody was going after me. Vince did this, and Triple H did this. It was a very simple, innocent comment. When Vince was here, I had more conversations with him. I don't know what anybody does in their personal life. And where I work, that's what I concentrate on. And when we were there, Vince was always trying to pull a different side of me. So there were different things I did at that time when I was in the wrestling business when Vince was in charge. What Vince told me was, I want to see different layers of you. He was like, man, there's so much more to you, so I want to make you feel uncomfortable on TV so that we can get those different layers. So I had a different relationship with Vince. When Triple H came on, we didn't really get a chance to sit down. He didn't get a chance to get to know me. Bobby Lashley was moved to the alumni section, and it was confirmed that the Almighty had parted ways with WWE. In the meantime, he will be competing in boxing match this year in Las Vegas, and so he is more focused on that for the time being. We'll have to see what the future holds for the Almighty, as the world is truly his oyster now. Do you believe Bobby Lashley needed to defend his comments about his connection to Vince McMahon? Should WWE have booked Lashley better? Logan Paul faces controversial accusation. Logan Paul has faced another controversial accusation ahead of WWE Smackdown this week. The star immediately denied it. Paul lost his United States Championship at WWE SummerSlam. The star faced LA Knight, and the match saw him give it his all. But unlike on previous occasions, this time, he lost the title. The star has since not been seen in the company, and it's expected he'll take a break before returning to participate again. In the meantime, he has been involved in some controversies, including some ongoing lawsuits. Earlier today, a video surfaced from 4 years ago showing his dog, Broly, jumping off his boat. The video claimed that he was pushing the dog off the boat and almost into the boat's rotor, as a hand was seen in the frame before the husky jumped. However, the video was not clear. I would never. Logan Paul showed an old YouTube comment in which he'd said the same thing about never pushing Broly off the boat. The comment also clarified that the hand was behind the dog, petting him. He added that they tried to grab him after the jump, clarifying in the comments, we would never, ever push Broly off the boat. He jumped and a hand was behind him, petting him, and when he jumped, we attempted to grab him, but for a fact, we did not push him. Watch his body language, and you can very evidently see a self-inducted, independent jump from this little mutt. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. He added a slow-motion video showing that the hand was not in contact with the dog before the push and reached out to grab Broly. While Logan Paul has not been successful in securing the big title shot he got against Roman Reigns, he has still found quite a bit of success in his run in the company. The star has only had 15 wrestling matches in his whole career. Of them, he has won 7 big bouts. He won the United States title by defeating legend Rey Mysterio. Since then, he's beaten the likes of The Miz, Kevin Owens, and even Randy Orton. While Logan Paul has lost the title, it remains to be seen what's next. Dominic Mysterio's sudden declaration. WWE superstar. Dominik Mysterio has managed to become one of the most hated superstars in WWE. After betraying Rhea Ripley and ousting Damian Priest from the Judgment Day, he and Liv Morgan are on cloud 9. Dirty Dom still hasn't stopped gloating after gaining the upper hand on the Terror Twins during the latest episode of Raw. Dominik Mysterio and Liv Morgan are due to face Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley at Bash in Berlin on August 31st, 2024. However, the new Judgment Day weakened their foes ahead of the PLE when Dom baited himself for a singles match against Priest. He even ended things with a big frog splash before the faction towered over their defeated former allies. Now, Liv Morgan has praised her daddy Dom as the greatest Mysterio ever. Reacting to this, Dom made a sudden declaration via a tweet on X and called himself a legend. F living legend, wrote Mysterio. Dominik Mysterio has earned massive hatred from the WWE Universe as a result of his antics. In the latest episode of his 6 Feet Under podcast, The Undertaker talked about how impressed he was with the Judgment Day storyline at SummerSlam, while his co-host, Matthew Lyda, noted that Liv Morgan was the most believable wrestler right now. The Phenom remarked that his top pick was Dirty Dom. How about Dominik, though? Is he not killing it? Asked Taker. Lyda agreed with the dead man and highlighted how Mysterio has become grand enough to sway the crowd without even having to wrestle. No, that's the great thing about it. He ain't getting beat up, he just gotta be Dom, man. The paychecks cash a lot easier because you don't hurt when you drive to the bank. The Undertaker highlighted that Dom's appearance, especially his weird mustache and the super mullet, also contributes greatly to his character. He also expressed that it would be great if former WWE star Vicky Guerrero returned and worked alongside Dom and Morgan. It would be interesting to see how a haughty Dirty Dom performs in the mixed tag team match at Bash in Berlin. Rikishi's message to his sons Jimmy and Jey Uso. Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso are currently signed to separate brands in WWE. Rikishi wished both his sons on their birthday and sent a message on social media. The Usos are multi-time tag team champions in WWE. At WrestleMania 39, their latest reign as tag team champions came to an end after losing the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. On Instagram, Rikishi sent a heartfelt message and praised both of his sons on their birthday. Happy born day to my boys. Blessed to be blessed, two of the best to ever do it. May you continue to follow your passion and love for the business, family, and most of all, God. Today and always, we celebrate life and all your life accomplishments. Stay humble, show love and compassion to the world. Love you both beyond Dad, the one fan. God never miss, Rikishi shared. Fans would be patiently waiting to see a reunion of the Usos in WWE soon. At WrestleMania XL, Jey Uso faced Jimmy Uso in what would be a first-ever singles match between the twin brothers. While speaking with Gorilla Position, the Yeet Master stated that they let people down with their match. I just said this to someone. I kind of felt like we did let the people down. Really? You feel that? Yeah, man. Because I wanted to go out there and have a straight-up banger, too. I wanted to do the wrestling part, but let alone make sure the emotion part is there. It was just a time issue. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta play your position on the team. That's what happened. I'm still happy, though. Use? I got a singles match at WrestleMania with my brother. That's a big picture. So, I'ma always have me and him in a face-off at WrestleMania. I'ma frame a picture, that's always, it's marked off our box. I just wish we could have went the way I know we can, Jey Uso said. While Jimmy Uso is currently sidelined with an injury, Jey Uso has his sights set on the Intercontinental Championship on Raw. Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman's next appearance. A major appearance has been announced featuring none other than WWE greats Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. Bloomberg Live's official Twitter handle shared the announcement. It has been some time since the fans saw the original tribal chief and the Wiseman. The last time they were seen on TV was in April. After Reigns lost the undisputed WWE Championship to Cody Rhodes, he headed backstage with Heyman and The Rock and hugged the Wiseman on the entrance stage in a wholesome moment. Paul Heyman was later kicked out of the bloodline by Solo Sikoa. Roman Reigns returned surprised at the biggest party of the summer, SummerSlam 2024. He helped Cody retain the undisputed WWE title by interfering in the main event and attacking Solo Sikoa. Bloomberg Live's Twitter handle has now announced a Reigns Heyman appearance. The Tribal Chief and the Wiseman are headed to New York. WWE's WWE Roman Reigns and Heyman Hustle join power players to share the future for sports entertainment's most electrifying double act 9-5. Reigns and Heyman have been on-screen allies for about 4 years. The two veterans are also best friends in real life. Heyman had massive praise for the former undisputed champion in his recently released WWE Legends documentary. Reigns inducted Heyman into the WWE Hall of Fame earlier this year and praised and admired the veteran. Since Heyman was kicked out of the bloodline by Solo, fans have been patiently waiting to see him return to TV. Now that Reigns is back, it's seemingly only a matter of time before Heyman returns. Roman Reigns loses against Solo Sikoa. Roman Reigns is finally back on WWE television, determined to take back his place at the head of the table. He successfully destroyed Solo Sikoa and his reformed faction at SummerSlam and the following SmackDown. But the tides turned when Jacob Fatu returned this week. While many hope to see the original Tribal Chief respond with ferocity, he will likely fail and meet the same fate when he meets the new bloodline again. Let's look at 4 reasons why Roman Reigns will lose against Solo Sikoa and the bloodline anytime they cross paths on SmackDown for now. So, without further ado, let's begin. Number 1. Roman Reigns left alone to face the monster he created. The repeated use of number advantage was one of the most defining traits of Roman Reigns' historic run as the undisputed WWE Universal Champion and the bloodline's subsequent dominance. Solo Sikoa played a crucial role in upholding Reigns' superiority by enforcing the Tribal Chief's will by all means necessary. Now that he sits at the head of the table, Sikoa is bound to employ similar methods. It is common for former heels to pay for past sins in the Triple H regime. Reigns has created this monster, and it is imperative for him to face the consequences before finding a way to combat the threat. Number 2. Solo Sikoa earns credibility on WWE Smackdown as the new leader. Roman Reigns returned at SummerSlam and immediately took out almost the entire bloodline. He repeated the same on SmackDown, only to fall when Jacob Fatu returned this week. If the original Tribal Chief had the upper hand throughout the feud, the rivalry would hardly be intriguing. The bloodline has often been the center of dramatic storytelling, and the entire Civil War plot desperately needs a balance between both sides. Solo Sikoa needs to build more credibility before he takes on Reigns. The original Tribal Chief can afford to be in a losing position for a while, to help build up his nemesis as the storyline progresses. Number 3. Short-term battles in a long-term civil war. The WWE creative team has shown immense patience with several recent storylines, gradually but effectively building towards a satisfactory playoff. Triple H is unlikely to rush one of the most intriguing rivalries involving the company's biggest superstar, thus leading to several small battles before the massive big fight. These matches, or altercations, will see Roman Reigns fall over and over again without affecting his credibility. He instantly turned into a babyface after his return, but he will hardly return to old ways from his big dog days. Instead, Reigns would be forced to face new and creative challenges every other meeting, just as he had planned for his opponents when he was the Tribal Chief. Number 4. The setup for former Bloodline members' return. The Usos and Sami Zayn. They may be a little far down the line, but a massive reunion involving Roman Reigns is as good as set in stone. This would see his long-term history and individual storylines with Jimmy Uso, Sami Zayn, and Jey Uso culminate into the old bloodline coming back together on WWE Smackdown against the Solo Sikoa run faction. Continuous losses, brutal beatdowns, and unfair humiliation could serve as massive motivational factors to facilitate the reunion. The Usos and Sami Zayn were put through a world of torture at the hands of their Tribal Chief. They would have to be compelled by their love and sympathy for Reigns to come to his aid, and that won't happen unless he is buried in adversity.